Hi, I'm OP. I'm a prop trader with Hashedge, and on this YouTube channel, I'm ready to share my journey from zero to Ferrari. So now let's look at the markets and let's see what is popping in the markets today. Uh, as we can see, let me go to the weekly. As you can see from the weekly time frame, we have just been range bounding. Nothing is moving. The market is yet to make a clear direction. We have just been range bounding from 80,000 to 88,000. Right now, we have a price of 800 thereabouts, which is making a lot of traders anxious and nervous about the direction of the market. Some people are screaming bullish, some people are screaming bearish. There's no clear direction. It makes it also difficult for anyone to trade. Of course, it's possible to trade on the lower time frames. There are always opportunities that exist in every market, right? In every market condition. As you can see on the 4 hourly, on the 4 hourly, there are ways one could have traded on 31st of March, and you exit at the resistance at 88 on the 3rd, 3 days ago. And but right now we are still range bounding, which makes it lackluster and with no clear direction, like I said earlier. Looking at it from the daily, you can also see that there's no volume is lackluster. There's no volume. Pretty much no volume is dead at the market right now. Looking at the moving averages, we are just range bounding with no clear exact. So I think right now the best thing for most traders is just to watch, sit on our hands, watch, and wait till the market comes to you. Wait till price to come to you at your different levels. That's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm just watching. Looking at the RSI, we are below 45, we are below 50 RSI. So we have really not made any different. We really don't have any direction on what the market is saying to us. We have not gone to oversold territory and we are not overbought. We are pretty much just in the middle. So we don't know what is going on at the moment. Everyone is just watching, and everybody's anticipating what is going to happen, especially with a lot of news coming up saying tomorrow might be a Black Monday. All this is just coming up from fears. There's so much fear out there. Or you check crypto Twitter, check every trader I speak to, brainstorming with them on ideas, on trading strategies. Everyone is just screaming fear. Fear is all in the markets. But one thing I remember somebody told me a long time, and I believe this quote is from Warren Buffett: buy when there's blood on the streets, when there's fear on the streets. That's when, as a trader, all that is coming to my mind is screaming, buy. This is time for me to watch the market, to pay attention and the opportunities, because you don't want to miss the opportunity. And that is when we have to make decisive action to take our move and make our move. I'm looking at the fear and greed index. We have been in fear for the last month, and we are still in fear, when indicating 34. So everyone is just running for the hills, so to say, at this moment. Looking at Bitcoin liquidity heat map, you can see, like I said earlier too, just corroborating all I've said earlier. Liquidity is building on both sides at 85, 82,000, and nothing has really happened over the weekend. Weekend has pretty much been boring. Nothing has happened over the weekend. So that is why all of us are just going to just sharpen our thesis, and find out what is going on, the sentiment, because sentiment analysis is also a major key leverage position that one can use to know what traders are saying out there, what the macro trend is saying, because the macro trend dictates the market, right? What is going on in the market. Of course, we know that the market is always price action, and the market and the trading and the market is always forward looking. So it always tells us what is happening. You always see that on the chart before it happens in, so to say, the economy, in news headlines and all this sorts. You can see people like Salsa Teklia. I don't know if I probably have butchered the name. He's saying that there's a big reason for Bitcoin to sell off, and his position is also, of course, bullish. And he's saying that we are kind of early, and he's positioning himself personally for the beginning of a bull trend. This other popular Twitter account is also talking about all the macro accounts and saying how we should macro should stop. You can mute all macro accounts, which I suggest that is not a good idea, because no matter what, we have to pay attention to what's going on in the macro, because no matter what, Bitcoin is still existing in a system. We are still in the macro system no matter what. So that is inevitable that macro events would not affect Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is just a cog in the wheel. Of course, a cog that is trying to try to build a new system, trying to build a new monetary global opportunity of freedom for people to be able to trade, to be able to send money across borders, and to be able to give them financial freedom in that sense. But no matter what, we have to be paying attention to what happens, because policy will still dictate all of that. Another account, Miles Ducha here, a very, very good guy, and I follow him. You should probably give him a follow and read through this. It's a long thread, but it's a very, very, I think, insightful and informative thread, where he states his thesis on what his plan is in the near future, and also he's just loading up on his bags, preparing for a heavy bull run, probably end of Q4 2025 and to Q1 2026. So everyone is positioning for this, and it's just stating Trump after Trump's tariff plan, because of course we all know that Trump's tariff plan this last week was what caused the market dump in the stock markets, and also in the across all financial markets, right? Of course, looking at it, even gold was also high, and gold even just hit its all-time highs last week, because everybody's running, everybody's risk off and not risk on at the moment. So everybody's running to safety. So the what is quite crucial and interesting, especially for Bitcoin, from Bitcoin's perspective, is that now Bitcoin would see a shift, I believe, shortly, to Bitcoin being a more risk-off asset rather than a risk-on asset, because right now people still look at it as a risk-on asset, because I believe policy has not been clear from the Trump administration and a lot of governments all over the world. So once that is settled, but what we are seeing that in the fundamental analysis, there's a lot of institutional buying, institutional interest. A lot of big players have been loading up on Bitcoin. A lot of sovereign wealth have been buying Bitcoin, and also they're loading up on it. So that is also, and what is quite interesting about that is that we are not even seeing that affect the price. We are just seeing lackluster movement in the price, which is also another bullish case for why we are going to see, once Bitcoin is like a balloon set under the swimming pool, and once you let it go, it's going to pop and it's going to skyrocket very, very fast. You can see just summarizing his tweet and going to the conclusion, he's just looking, like I said, looking at increasing his risk exposure over the coming weeks, months, because he has conviction that these entries will look pretty good in hindsight come Q1 next year. You look at also the Wall Street cheat sheet, and looking at the psychology of the microcycle. I'm sure many of us are familiar with this chart. And a lot of people are arguing right now that we are currently at the disbelief stage, where everybody is just in disbelief. They don't know what is going on. People are sad. People are exiting the markets. People are tired of trading. And this is the time that we should be building our conviction and sharpening our thesis, because we know that we are in the right place. We are trading the right assets, and this is, our path to Ferrari. Looking at it, also looking at Raoul Pal's tweet, he is also somebody that is respected from a macro perspective, macro analyst perspective, and you can see he's saying that we have a macro hedge fund manager running the treasury, not an extra ex central banker. And he's referring to the Treasury Secretary, and he deeply understands liquidity impact and how to drive financial conditions to drive liquidity, and how that in turn drives the economy and markets. And his strategy is to lower the three legs of financial conditions: the dollar, the rates, and oil, to goose the business cycle. So of course, it's just also him beating the drums on more bullish thesis, on a much more bullish and favorable thesis for Bitcoin. And I believe somewhere here, Hash Crypto is positioning himself, saying Bitcoin is going to, I probably should like this tweet, Bitcoin is going to 150k, 200k by end of year, I'm assuming, and Ethereum is going to 7,000 to 10,000, and altcoins, a lot of altcoins, of course not all altcoins, and maybe a select meme coins will explode 10x to 30x, and all this will happen in 2025. Just going back to my tweets, And looking at all the key economic metrics we've had over the week and over last week, we saw the different U.S. tariffs on automotive imports, with the tariff shockwaves, the market disruption, and the economic and global impact it has had on all of us. And of course, another well-respected OG crypto trader, crypto investor, Otto is also saying, also speculating on the Black Monday that is being rumored that tomorrow will bring about, because we are seeing the stock markets and all financial markets capitulate over the last week, and everybody is speculating whether this Monday, coming Monday, 7th of April, will be a Black Monday, and a lot of things will happen. But looking at it over the weekend, it hasn't. Bitcoin has not moved. Like I said earlier, it has been range bound, and we'll know what will happen on Monday. I don't believe there will be a big movement. Even if there's going to be a big movement, I think will still be range bound. But that will be interesting to see what will. But like as a trader, we are also always anticipating what is happening, and that's why we are glued to our screens, watching what is going to happen, and we take advantage of any movement either way of the market, either long or short. Just going with Jim Cramer, the famous guy. Of course, there's a famous Twitter account that's over there. That's an inverse Jim Cramer, because anytime he screams, "Oh, there's a Black Monday crash," or the bottom is in, that's when it's the opposite, because inverse, right? So
the president doesn't try to reach out and reward these countries. The president doesn't try to reach out and reward these countries and companies that play by the rules in the 1987 scenario, the one where we went down 3 days and then down 22% on Monday, has the most cogency. We will not have to wait out too long, will we? We'll know by Monday. The president.
So he's just also talking about he's also on the side or the bearish case, saying that there's going to be a crash tomorrow, which in a way, every time he always screams a crash, or he's always screaming the bottom is in, that's the inverse. The inverse, a lot of traders take the inverse, and they have been quite profitable so far, taking the inverse of him, because he's part of the mainstream media and always pushing the institutional narrative that is always using retail as exit liquidity. Ash Crypto also goes on to say why Trump is trying to crash the stock market at about 20%, because he wants to force the Fed's hand to resume QE, quantitative easing, so that they add more liquidity into the system. Of course, once there's more liquidity, everybody is much more risk on, because they have much more money to spend, they have much more money to trade, they have more money to enter the markets and speculate on financial assets like it. That is why it is incumbent on all of us that are watching these markets now, trading, for us to be positioned before all this happens, all this gets into gear, because we'll just take advantage of the ride. We don't have to act later. We are being proactive instead of reactive in that sense. Just looking at it, just in conclusion of this video, just to show you what we are anticipating next week. We have a busy next week with a lot of data coming out from the Fed and different institutions, with like the Japan, UK GDP coming out on Friday. On Thursday and Friday, I think, are the main days of it, where we will receive a lot of data that will affect financial markets. Where on Thursday we receive the US CPI, and on Friday we are also receiving the US PPI. So this data and numbers are going to be very, very important and going to affect financial movements and price action. So these are days that will be very, very crucial to show the direction of the market. And just to end, I'm putting coins in the well every day. I have a lake beside my house, and I put the coins every day, just to wish Bitcoin to 50K by 2025, and for us to reach our 0 to Ferrari. Thank you very much.